Hey, good morning, everybody. Morning, David, Michael, Alan, Tom, Pat, Jan, Francois, Val, Larry, Valerie. Good morning, Maurizio. How's everybody doing? Yeah, happy Friday. um, what a week. We just keep grinding lower, and it all starts becoming very, very simple. At some point last week, maybe over the weekend, last weekend, during some updates, I shared this chart right here. Let's pop it over. And if we zoom up right here, this may be entirely what we're doing right here. That preliminary support level right in here around 44.25-ish. We'd probably bounce back up into this zone up here. And you may be like, where does that number come from? Look right here, 618 level, around 45.25-ish. So we could be down a bit more, 40-ish, 50-ish points, bounce back up about 100 points, then take another dip down about the same size as what we started with right here. This drop could repeat itself right over here, taking us down into this 4,300 area right down here. All right. Maybe that's not what you want. Maybe that's not, what you expect. Right now, that's kind of the high probability path forward. Now, what happens when we get here? Not sure yet. Similar to, I wasn't sure what was going to happen up here exactly, but now it's starting to clarify quite a bit with the continued weakness on the bottom side. Probably go retest this zone, bounce up, and get one more. That's kind of the high probability path forward at this point. It's become kind of simple. Now, does it have to do this? No, it doesn't have to do this. We may see something totally different. But at this point, this is the highest probability path forward. Is it reliable? Nope. Not even a little bit. Corrective patterns like this, highly variable. We could get some intraday chop. This is the way the market takes the most amount of money from the most number of people. It chops you out, does these corrections, frustrates everybody. It'll frustrate the bears because it won't go down as far as they think it will. It will frustrate the bulls because we will make a lower high and then rip them again. And then everybody will get super short. And then likely we come up short and we don't drop on out and then we bounce. That would be classic. This could take out into September, maybe even October. This could be on over here like this. Is it going to be fun? Probably not. It's difficult to make money in a corrective, choppy environment. All right. So I just want everybody to be aware. This is kind of what we have set up right now. Morning, Michael. Morning, Dan. Morning, Ragamer. Morning, Andreas. Donald. I don't recognize your name, Donald. Welcome to the stream. Craig, Pat, and Sledge. Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. All right. That's the path forward right now. That's the most likely path forward. This could last us, like I said, in October. We're in August right now. So we're talking September, October, like 2 more months. Would that frustrate you? Especially if you're trying to go bullish. It's going to crush all the hopes and dreams of people expecting that higher high this year. And then we might do the higher high. It's entirely possible that we go full bullish rally out of this correction. This is what it looks like we're setting up to do right here, though. Any questions? Let me know in the chat. If you want to chat with me while I'm live, all you got to do is be a subscriber right down over here. Click the button. My monster can disappeared. There it is, right there. Click on right there. And a few seconds later, once you're a subscriber, you can chat on the live stream. Now, that only works while I'm live. If you're tuning in later, watching a replay, I'm no longer live. You can leave a comment down below. I will do my best to get back to you. I try to answer every comment on recent videos. Sometimes if you leave a comment on an old video, I I'm not sure what to answer. Anyway, and if you want to talk to me the rest of the day, that does cost some money. I do reserve that right for paying customers. The link is in the description right down below. You just expand that little box. There's a link. It's like $5 for 3 months and like an offer to get another 12 months for a reasonable price. So you can come join me for the next like 15 months for quite a reasonable price, like less than $30. Anyway, glad to have everybody. And if you're new here, give me a shout out on the live stream. I'd love to welcome new people. So there's the path forward, and has nothing to do with PPI, nothing to do with CPI, nothing to do with anything. We got extended. The move was extended. We had an outsized move. It was a 5. This move was in the top 5% of bull runs ever since World War II. And now it's over. And we're probably going to correct it back out, at least a little bit. Now, the key level we want to hold above is this one right here. This is the key level. If we can hold above this zone right there. So we had trouble breaking through. Trouble breaking through, trouble breaking through, trouble breaking through. That's the key level. It's right down there around 4150 to 4200. So this is likely what we're doing. Probably pull on down back to the back to 1272 level at 4424.25 area. Probably bounce back up and then retrace on down. So there you go. That's what we got. And I mean, you could say head and shoulders. This is just simplified off the daily closes. I don't see a clear head and shoulders at this moment, but you know, it could develop that sort of thing in the future. Right now, probably just going to correct this back out, and then we'll see what happens. We could lead to something bigger, but we also could extend, make that new high, possibly an all-time high, into late this year, early next year. It could be happening. All right. Just wanted to cover that with everybody right off the top. That's kind of where we are. That's what everything kind of pointing to right now. All right. Now, news of the day. We had PPI coming out this morning, right down here. Came in a little hot. Market turned sour on that. Came in a little hot, came in a little hot. We have consumer sentiment coming out at 10 a.m. So, gosh darn alerts. About 20 or 30, 37 minutes, we will have consumer sentiment coming out. And we'll see what the market does there. This is a preliminary consumer sentiment. Are you feeling frosty, my friend? Are you feeling super confident? Are we feeling buying sentiment, or are we feeling those inflation expectations kicking up again? So be careful. Hey, Larry. Morning, William. Morning, Hannah. Morning, Andreas. PD. Lucero. Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you. Yeah, finally hooked up with high-speed internet. That's awesome. Makes the world a difference sometimes. All right, so that's this week. Next week, not a ton of stuff happening, actually, economic news-wise. Next week, popping it up here. Rest of the world kind of going to throw some news at us. We've got China and Australia out there. We've got Canada, and we got a little bit of core retail sales in Empire State on Tuesday. Then coming on down, New Zealand, we've got building permits, housing starts, all that stuff coming out on Wednesday next week. FOMC meeting notes. We kind of know what they already said in the meeting minutes. I mean, it'll clarify a few things, but, let's be honest. We already knew what they did. They raised the rate. And rolling on down, it was a big... Did the FOMC care? Did the market care last time? No, market didn't care. But now we are correcting this back out. Thursday, we have unemployment claims, not a lot. And then Friday, nothing, basically. For next week, the following week is the Jackson Hole Symposium. We can usually Jerome Powell kind of starts clarifying some stuff after Jackson Hole. So that's going on starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I believe it runs into the next week, and we wrap it up. Yeah, they kind of wrap it up, and we find out what happens. They throw out the announcement, whatever. Maybe over the weekend. It's kind of a crapshoot what they do. Sometimes it's sometimes it's a market mover. So we'll see what happens. Then coming up that last week of August, we have preliminary GDP, and all the fun stuff as we wrap up August. Golly, August already down, crazy. This time's gonna fly. Anyway, that kind of is the forward outlook for the next couple of weeks. Any questions? Let me know in the chat. Anything you want me to talk about? But yeah, economic news. Yeah, and we're kind of almost through earnings. Earnings are going to slow down, so just leaves the market to adrift, and up to world events and what companies do and our own devices as traders. So I think that looking forward, that's probably the path for the next couple months. Quite possibly. Now, looking at my smaller time frames, look, ES continuing weakness. We make that lower low today. Highly unlikely that that's the low that stands. Like 90% chance we make a lower low on Monday or Tuesday of next week. Hate to say it, but ES already pushing lower pre-markets. Looking like S&P could make that lower low. And we're going to see the lower low Monday or Tuesday. After lower than today. That's the only statistic. You can say, well, we made a low last Friday and we made a low. This was a question in Discord yesterday. It's like, when we make two lows in a row, is it change the tune? And it's like, okay, I don't keep statistics on that. I keep statistics on if Friday is the lowest low in a week or 2 weeks, which if we make a lower low today, that's going to be the lowest low. I mean, we're in a downtrend. This is a downtrend now. It's pretty much a downtrend on every time frame we look at right now, except for a daily. If we make that lower low here, we're highly likely. It's just a market thing. It's just what happens. We don't tend to bottom on Fridays. 10% of the time we might, but 90% of the time we don't. And 90% of the time we make a lower low either Monday or Tuesday. It's just the way it works. I can't say why. Maybe somebody that understands human psychology could tell you why. Just not the way the market operates. We don't typically make a low that holds on Friday. So we're already looking at probably lower prices on Monday or Tuesday. NQ. Yeah, looks pretty bad. And skipping on down, Russell looks pretty bad. We're probably going lower. All those charts, Russell right here, probably going to come back into the support zone and right down in here. I cleared all this junk off this chart just a minute ago on the other computer, and it apparently didn't stick. Right there we have the support zone right down here, right where the roadmap line is, right in there. Probably coming down right in that zone. What happens after that? May bounce up, it may push lower, come down to this zone. Not sure yet. We'll see. Oil, glancing off the target. Pulling back to the roadmap line would be what I expect. If, for some reason, we can break out above that high. It's been the high for months and months and months now. You can see, all the way back here in November, we have not been able to break through this level. If, for whatever reason, we break through this level, probably come up here to about $93.50. That's $10 more added to oil. And that's where we topped out up here in October and November. Then we dropped December. We haven't been able to break above. Haven't been able to break above. If we break above, probably right up there. All right. Market open. I got 15 seconds, but CL. That was CL. That was oil. GC, right back to the roadmap line. Probably has a little more push to go to get there. Same kind of deal with Bitcoin. Maybe need one more little flush. And there's the bell. One more little flush. Probably it's highly possible that we might need to see that. That could correspond with risk off in the broader market. Broader market pushing down. Bitcoin can flush on down, bounce, and then take off. Ethereum still looking weaker than Bitcoin and may need the bigger flush. Dollar, right up to the roadmap line, probably going to test it again. Held the bottom of the box, rally right back up, test it. That right now is a 3-wave move, and that could be, 3-wave up, 3-wave down. I'm not so sure what we got cooking here at the moment, actually. We could see the dollar break out this time. Got to be prepared for all the different scenarios. There's the trend line, though. Does it make one of these little poke aboves and then roll over again? Maybe. Maybe. That was a 3-wave down. That tends to be a corrective, but we bottomed with it. So that makes the pattern unclear from here at the moment. Especially if we move up through this high right here. So there's your resistance zone. Going higher on the dollar. All right. Stuff actually moving today. Wasn't a lot on the list. SMLR popping up to the roadmap line. That's still a bearish chart. Be careful. It does not have to go higher. It can correct right back down just like it did right there. Now, the only bullish thing that I see right now is the fact that was a lower, that lower move right there, that was a higher low than what we made right back here, and it's kind of a roadmap pattern. Measured bounce pattern, excuse me. Kind of a measured bounce pattern. And a breakout above this high right here. Right there. Above that zone. Can take this higher. Be looking something like right up there around 80, around 38, excuse me. IWM. Making alerts, coming on down. TSAT. Nice pop. Nice pop, nice pop. Right up into the resistance so far. Right there. Maybe could break on higher. Maybe. That's up 56% today. Be careful. That can do a significant retrace. This was choppy at the bottom. You could say maybe if you really struggled, you could pick out a head and shoulders in there, but it doesn't look very clear. It doesn't look very clean. This was very overlapping. And we may come right back down eventually. INOD. That's a consolidation. If we can break out, that could get continuation. If we look at right here, that was up to the 1272. Retrace. Roadmap line would be my preferred place to find support. We could just find support at that 100% like we have, and we can go out for a move to 16 on that one. W, probably coming right back down to the roadmap line. ARCE, popping up, find a resistance right there at those prior highs. We can get above that. Could look for a continuation move up to about 1750. ACHR, this is one that they were talking about after hours in Discord there. Probably coming, that's a lower high so far. 1, 2, may come right back down to the roadmap line. I hate to say it, but that move, at least right back to there and extending right back to the roadmap line would be pretty classic. Pretty classic. He announced a partnership with Boeing, but as bullish as that sounds, it may be in store, may have a retrace in store. That's what it looks like it wants to or needs to do. At least to the back to the bottom of the box one more time. Can't hold that. Probably going down to the roadmap line. IONQ. India, Oscar, November, Quebec. Yeah, that one. Spike up, retrace. Goes lower, spike up, probably going down. This looks like the classic pattern. Classic. Almost want to call it the GME pattern at this point. because that's what everybody would know. I mean, look. Spike up, retrace, spike up, retrace, spike up, retrace, spike up, retrace. You see the trend, though. After the big spike, it's down. Another one that everybody thinks this one's going to be different. This pattern happens over and over. So, IONQ, probably going to come back down. ASML, just, did it hit the roadmap line yet? Nope, not quite. Oh, yeah, it did. There it did. Now, it can find support here. This is one we have to watch. If it's going to turn up, the most aggressive entry would be above 694 at this point. It can go lower, though. It doesn't have to hold the roadmap line. I did expect it to finally come down here, and it, I don't know how many weeks I talked about that. Talked about it going up, hitting the target, and then probably coming back to the roadmap line. That's what it did right there. Classic moves. Now, if we hold support here, we can go on the next move. That next move going to look something like an extension out to 800, possibly 839. MAXN, Maxion Solar. Ouch. Right back to the lows. Right back to the lows. If it can hold that, we could turn up. If it doesn't hold that, extend lower. Yep. All right. NVIDIA. Probably going to come back to the roadmap line. Potential to hold this low. You see where it made this high, this low. There is a potential in there to hold that and get one more extension. There's a potential. But there's also a high probability move that we would see a retrace back down here. BSAQ, another one of those crazy moves. That's a SPAC, acquisition company, special purpose acquisition company, and must have announced a target or something, but I expected to close a deal August 14th, 3 days. I mean, be careful. That one can bust just as easy as it can boom. Baidu, right back to the roadmap line. Kind of wrecking the head and shoulders a little bit. I mean, we could kind of keep it going, but some point here, it's just not going to do the head and shoulders thing. It didn't even get up to the neckline so far, and deeper retrace, and sloppy, nasty. No high probability pattern there. Pinduoduo probably coming back to the roadmap line after closing below the orange box. To lower high, probably bearish, can get continuation lower. Tesla working its way down. All the doubters in the chat, let me know. 220 is the price that I kind of expect us to at least go test, if not on down a little lower. A support zone right down here. The roadmap line a little higher. We went a little bit higher than I had forecasted all the way back in like February. Went a little bit higher. Got a little overexcited. That tends to happen when we're bullish and everybody's excited. And we sometimes we'll get overexcited to the downside. We may bust down below the support just a little bit. But I outlined a path pretty clear. We went a little higher than I expected, but still expect it to come back to that roadmap line. Right in this zone, right over here. If it does that, holds support there and turns up again, I'm going to be loading the boat because that sets us up to get a much bigger move up to 350, possibly 400 on the next go. Especially with this move right here being a little extended, a little extra excited. Like the teenage boy, But everything comes down eventually, so be careful. Be careful. I wouldn't just pick bottoms either. So, Tilray, that was just the IPO on Tilray when it popped. It wasn't a beverage deal. They may have made a beverage deal lately, but their chart looks pretty horrible. Baba, just chopping in the resistance. like I said, the list of movers today was not very big and nothing moving super great. I threw in Apple because we're probably coming back to the roadmap line. There were a lot of people said I was full of crap when I kind of predicted we'd come back down to the zone. Now that we are only about $2 away from the top of the zone, be careful. Now, if we can hold support in that 170 to 175 zone, I'll probably buy my shares back, or at least buy half of them back, and then wait. And if we get a deeper dip, I may buy the rest of them back. So know where your targets are. I thought we'd come up short of 200 and then retrace back to the roadmap line. That's exactly what we've done so far. Yeah, mic drop. I don't have the mic's up here and it's holding itself, so I'm not going to drop it. But anyway, Microsoft probably coming back to the roadmap line. Also, it's been back here since March since we did that, so be a classic move right back down. It can take a little longer. I don't think the market's going to turn up without Microsoft and Apple finding their bottom. So there you go. All right. Yeah. Hit the thumbs up if you like what if I've ever predicted something you liked before, or maybe I said something today that you liked, and share it with somebody that you think could also benefit from this. Actually helps me even more. Bias for the day. Bias for the day. What am I bias? What is my bias? Probably lower, down to that 44.25 area on the S&P, and we're not that far away. We may get a close right down in there today. Then could close just a bit shy, get a dip on Monday, and then rally and correct further. So there you go. Thanks everybody for coming. I'll be live again on Monday, going through this same stuff all over again, and give you the bias for the day. Hopefully have more stuff moving. I mean, at this point though, a little bit bearish, probably going to be bearish for the next month or two. And I can't make the market. I can just give you the highest probability path forward. And right there it is, as far as I'm concerned. Keep it simple. Just on the daily closes, right there. Probably going a little lower.